Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolfe alongside Nick Wright, Kevin Wilds. A very happy Eric Mangini with us this morning. It is Friday, finally, and we have a great show for you today. Coming up, Dak and the Cowboys are once again at an impasse. So where do we go from here? We'll let you know. What would it look like if Brady and LeBron teamed up together? What if LeBron and Brady teamed up together? We'll talk about that. And Hollywood Brown is going to join us, talk about the upcoming season with Lamar Jackson. Nick's already shaking his head. He loves my jokes so much. We'll start this morning, though, with the possible death of the onside kick in the NFL. Here we go. NFL owners are voting on a unique rule change that would pivot to an alternative. So teams would be allowed a 4th and 15 from their own 25 instead of the usually unsuccessful and oftentimes dangerous onside kick. Advantage, high-powered offenses. Nick, kick things off with you. What do you think?
All right, just to be clear, Jenna, I was not shaking my head at your joke. Your joke was wonderful. I was concerned about LeBron starting to hang out with an untoward element, if you will, given Tom Brady's friend group. But we'll get to that later in the show. To start with this right now, to kick off talking about the potential death of the onside kick, this would be an amazing, historic change for the NFL. This would be a major, major departure from how things have always been done. I think it would be a welcome change. One thing Coach and I have talked about off the air a lot, as far as, I know people laugh when I say this, but Coach and I talk about football strategy a lot, especially when we're able to be in the same room and not quarantined, is that you must avoid getting yourself in what we call an onside kick game, where because of time score situation, the only way you can get back in the game is by successfully recovering an onside kick. And that was the belief before the NFL changed the rules and made onside kicks almost impossible to recover. Think back to the most famous comeback, arguably in NFL history, Falcons-Patriots in the Super Bowl. One of the reasons that many of us feel like the Falcons butchered that so badly was they had many opportunities to force the Patriots into an onside kick game, and their play calling went the other way to where the Patriots could just essentially run their normal offense and not have to get into an onside kick game. If you remove the onside kick entirely, the butterfly effects are enormous, Wilds. If you're watching the game and your team has the ball with 6 minutes left, down 17, you're thinking, well, we probably won't win, but we score here, get the conversion, we could score again, convert it again, because you would be allowed to do this twice, and we could win the game without our defense ever having to take the field. Wilds, I also wonder, people say it'll be good for high-powered offenses. I wonder if it could be used against high-powered offenses. Say you're playing my Kansas City Chiefs, and you're down 7 with 4 minutes left, and you score a touchdown, right? You score a touchdown to tie the game. Would you consider going for it, saying, well, if we get it, we'll keep the ball, and if we don't get it, they'll have such a short field, at least we'll get the ball back? I think there will be a lot of potential ripple effects from this. I love the idea of it, Wilds. I don't know why anyone would vote against it.
I'll go even a crazy step further that we'll eventually see. We're playing the Chiefs. We're probably going to lose. Let's try to keep them literally off the field. You could theoretically score 2-point conversion, 4th and 15, again and again. You could keep the offense off the field until it's 24-0, theoretically. And, Coach, I want to give some numbers to you. If I saw this rule and I worked at the Sloan Sports Conference, I would start cranking them right now. But just for some stats, and I'm going to pull a Kornheiser here, put my glasses on. 4th and 15 last year, 28.6%. Small sample size, 2 for 7. Previous year, 3 for 7, 43%. Then they go 0 for 6. The 2016, 2 for 6, 33%. Compare that to onside kick success, which in the last 5 seasons is about 13%. So it feels like 4th and 15 is much more advantageous, would happen much more often. As a coach, how would you plan for this?
Well, there's a couple things here. So the NFL does have the benefit of seeing how this worked with the XFL. This will probably be the legacy of the XFL if it gets passed. And I understand the player safety component of this as well. But as you guys talk about keeping the Chiefs off the field, and look, let's not put the Chiefs in the, unstoppable offense category for years and years to come. Like, I get it. They played really well this year, but we're fast forwarding a little too much here. But we'll get back to that too. But if you wanted to keep a team off the field, typically a surprise onside kick hits a lot at a much higher rate than an onside kick that people know is coming. So you would actually have an edge on a surprise onside kick if you're trying to keep a team off the field than you would, a 4th and 15 or a regular onside kick. Here's what I don't like about it. Football is a effective all three phases of the game, and this again takes something away from special teams. And it to me, to have to be able to perform in all three phases of the game is as important to the integrity of the game as anything. Do I think this is the way it's going? Yeah. Do I love it? No.
All right. Well, Nick is right. It can also help defenses. But for the most part, if you just look at this on its surface, this is a proposed rule that would benefit the high-powered offense. And we're not talking the Chiefs down the road. We're talking the Chiefs next year. They are a very high-powered offense. In fact, nobody happier about this than Patrick Mahomes, tweeting 4th and 15 with a pair of cold sweat emojis, putting the league on notice. Nick, how much do you think this would actually affect the Kansas City Chiefs?
First of all, Jenna Wolfe elucidating what that emoji means. No sarcasm here. I've never known that was a cold sweat emoji. I've always wondered, why is the guy's head?
I thought it's
that
obvious.
Makes total sense. Great job by you, Jenna. I had no idea. I now understand what that emoji means.
Anytime
I
can help you get smarter, Nick,
I swear to God, I didn't know that was a cold sweat emoji. All right. Now, I understand Coach thinks we're fast-forwarding too much with the Chiefs and the offense. Can we hit rewind instead? How about the year before they won the Super Bowl when they were the 3rd highest scoring offense in the history of football and Patrick Mahomes had 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns? I mean, it just kind of does seem like they're, one of the all-time greatest offenses with one of the all-time greatest quarterbacks, but what do I know? The reason Patrick Mahomes is so excited about this is because last year, 16 times he dropped back to pass on 3rd and 15 or 4th and 15 or longer. He was 12 of 16 with 3 touchdowns on a 156.3 passer rating. In other words, Patrick Mahomes is better at 3rd or 4th and super long than any other quarterback in the league is at anything. So that's why he's excited about this. But I do think this could be used against the Chiefs defense to try to keep the Chiefs offense off the field, Wilds. And so I don't think it is necessarily only great for the offenses, but I do think that it obviously, to Coach's point, and I understand we talk about head coach Eric Mangini, but prior to being head coach Eric Mangini, he was defensive coordinator Eric Mangini, and I understand why defensive coordinators, and I'll kick it to you, Coach, would see this and say, another thing where you are tilting the scales in favor of the offenses. I love it, but I understand why on the defensive side of the ball, it might seem like you're further weighing the scales.
I don't know if it's totally slanting it towards the offense. 4th and 15 is not an easy conversion, and it shouldn't be an easy conversion. And the numbers reflect that. Now, Kansas City had an abnormally high success rate in that situation. And as people go and vote for this proposal, hopefully they're voting for it based on safety, first and foremost, and then based on how much they think it'll add to the excitement of the game. I do think it takes away from the idea of all three phases having to work together. Does it skew offensively? Yeah, it does in the sense that typically if an offense has gone down and scored, they've got momentum and the defense is reeling to some degree. So then to have to come back out and make another stop, it does put you in a difficult position. That being said, it's not an easy conversion to complete. So I see both sides of it.
Wilds, just quickly before we go, a few points and then something I know you're going to like. One is that when we talk butterfly effects, this will lead to, I see into a crystal ball, this will lead to me coming into work on a Monday morning, having a team that was 4-point favorites and had a 9-point lead with 2.5 minutes left, and I've lost the bet. This will lead to some historical gambling losses by me and others out there, and this will totally change the Madden game forever. Because on Madden, everyone's going to do this every time. But when we're talking about the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs Wilds, a quick list, 5 things that has happened this offseason that has made it easier for the Chiefs to become a dynasty, and I'd love to see your reaction to this. How about this? Number 5, no one traded for the Chiefs' best defensive player, Chris Jones. Number 4, no one in the AFC West signed Cam Newton. Well, we've got Drew Lock, Tyrod Taylor, and Derek Carr. Who needs Cam Newton? Number 3, the Chiefs' offense had their pick of the litter of all the running backs coming out of college because no one drafted a running back before them. Number 2, Eric Bieniemy, still there. And now number 1, you give another rule to the offense with one of the greatest offenses ever. I would come up with a list of 5 ways things got harder for your beloved Patriots. But to be fair, it would have to be about a 50-point list, and we don't have the font for that, Wilds.
Well, thank you. I was praying that Jarrett the Javelin wasn't number 1 on the list. One final note, Jenna. I think there's a TV element to this, too. When you look at TV ratings, if you ever see a little dip, it's like, well, that was a good matchup, but it was a blowout. I think we get fewer blowouts or just more intrigue to keep the time spent viewing on these games a little bit longer.
Number 1 reason they won't repeat is because they overestimate their ability to repeat. Just like every other team. It's not that easy.
Coach,
it's not that
easy.
Side. Coach.
Yeah, how many teams have repeated?
Down to earth.
Again.
All right.
New England.
We got to take a break.
A healthy lifestyle should be easy, right? Eat veggies, drink green smoothies, exercise, get your heart rate up, and do yoga to bring your heart rate back down. Well, maybe not so easy, but there is something that helps improve everything, and you can literally do it with your eyes closed. It's sleep. Sleep Number knows what it takes to sleep your best. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed lets you choose your ideal firmness, comfort, and support on each side, your Sleep Number setting. It's the perfect solution for couples. These beds are so smart, they respond to your every move and automatically adjust to keep you sleeping comfortably all night. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now, for a limited time during the Memorial Day sale, save $1,000 on the new Sleep Number Special Edition Smart Bed, a queen, now only $17.99. You'll only find Sleep Number at Sleep Number stores or by visiting www.sleepnumber.com.
All right, back here with Eric Mangini. Time for Drawing a Blank. Patrick Mahomes is on the brink of being the highest paid NFL player of all time. But what does brink mean? Well, Chiefs owner Clark Hunt saying negotiations are something we'll be getting into this summer. And Nick, all that money to Mahomes means very little money left for everybody else. So the Chiefs' Super Bowl window, as soon as they sign Mahomes, is blank.
First of all, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but Jenna Wolfe is just on fire this morning. Did you see what she did with Brink? We're talking about money like a Brinks truck. Back up the Brinks truck, Chiefs on the brink.
On purpose.
It's just, I don't even know if you're doing it on purpose, Jenna. You're just money every single
Nick,
time you talk.
You're
all right, the
complimenting
Chiefs
me.
Super Bowl window,
That's great. I love
once they sign Patrick Mahomes, will be car dealership-esque. And by that I mean, you go to a car dealership, you're like, how'd they get this F-150 in here? This giant SUV. And then you realize those windows aren't actually windows. They're garage doors, and they roll wide open. It's floor to ceiling. So that's going to be the Chiefs Super Bowl window. It's going to be floor to ceiling, palatial, open spaces, as open of a floor plan as you can possibly get, like I assume Coach Mangini has in his palatial Ohio estate. So, yeah, going to be car dealership-esque, Coach.
Yeah. Look, this must be Freaky Friday with Nick complimenting Jenna as much as he is, but I'll go with it. To me, this this is open. It should be open annually. And the reason I say that is whenever you have a great quarterback, and look, Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, you have a chance to win the Super Bowl every year. Now, it's not that easy to do. It's definitely not as easy as Nick thinks it is to do. And what you have to do is evolve as an organization, because you do have to compensate for the lack of resources that you have because of what you pay that quarterback. And you've got to make some other really good decisions to support them and build the team and be competitive year in and year out. You've seen a lot of great quarterbacks with only one Super Bowl. Look, whether it was Drew Brees in New Orleans or Manning,
Rodgers
won in Indianapolis. So it's harder than you think, Nick.
Jenna, I'm going to draw on Nick's car dealership analogies there. I think there's going to be a considerable amount of sticker shock, and here's why. I put cap breaker as my real answer. The cap right now is $198 million. 5 years ago it was 155. So it's an increase of 27%, and nothing happened. There was no massive new deal. Netflix didn't get the NFL. In 2022, when the TV rights are renegotiated, the numbers are going to go bonkers. And the number that Nick is going to have to pay Patrick Mahomes to keep him in that red and white jersey is going to be astronomical. I can't even picture. It could be 50 million plus, Nick. I'll take over on 50 million. Sticker shock should be my answer. I put cap breaker.
Going in that direction. All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles now. The Eagles got a heap of love from Hall of Famer LaDainian Tomlinson, who said this about the Birds. This is a team that no one's really talking about. Philadelphia is going to be scary. He must not be watching, because we literally talk about them all the time. But Nick, LT's comments on the Eagles are blank.
Deja vu. What year is it? Because I feel like this is what was said about the Eagles 1 year ago today. This was said about what was said about the Eagles 2 years ago today. Look at the roster. Look at the talent. Why can't they win 12 or 13 games? I bought into it last year. I think I had them 12-4 as the 2 seed, like a doofus. Listen, at this point, the Eagles have to prove they are more than a magical 6 quarters of football in the second half or the final 2.5 quarters of the conference championship game and then the Super Bowl against the Patriots. I understand they were spectacular that regular season until Carson Wentz got hurt. But they've now had 2 regular seasons since then when they've been And I don't think they made these massive upgrades this offseason. So I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I have them in the playoffs at 9-7 as the 7 seed, I think, if I'm remembering my predictions correctly. But I don't think they're going to be this juggernaut. And I don't know, Coach, if they ever actually were a juggernaut.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit strong, but I don't think it's totally unreasonable. And it's surprising to me, Nick, that you're mad at a team that predicted unlimited success after they won 1 Super Bowl. I mean, that seems to be the way that it goes for every team that wins once, is that suddenly they're able to win every year in and year out. Good. And look, the other thing is they have a good time doing it in Philadelphia. They have fun while they win. And that's the way that they roll, but it's not that easy to do, and it's not that fun. Now that being said, they were pretty good last year, and they had a significant amount of injuries, and the injuries continue to be an issue for them, especially at the quarterback position. How well he can sustain himself and stay healthy, that's a big part of this. But they did make some upgrades or added some depth on the defensive line. They've addressed the secondary. They added some more weapons in the receiving core. Deshaun Jackson is back. There's a lot of things to like about the Eagles, but it's still going to be a function of how well that chemistry and those parts can come together.
Jenna, I agree with you. I wrote must be nice because when LaDainian says no one's talking about the Eagles, it must be nice because, unfortunately, our researcher, Dusty, is an Eagles fan, and he makes us talk about the Eagles 24 hours a day. Quick story.
All the
when
time.
the schedule release was coming out, we foolishly said, hey, let's kind of like highlight some big games, and then once we get where they land on the schedule, we'll be prepared. We gave the list to Dusty. Dusty comes back with a list of the interesting games, and I swear to God, there were 12 Eagles games on the list of about 40 games. We said, Dusty. So now I asked him to give me a good stat. And Dusty said, literally gave me 10 more stats, but smartly, he said, too long, didn't read, just say this. Continuity, great quarterbacking, and added much-needed youth and athleticism. So thank you, Dusty.
Dusty getting roasted out here on a Friday morning.
That's not roasted.
Moving on. Hey, how about this, guys? Dusty getting it all. LeBron James and Tom Brady are pairing up for a sports docuseries titled Greatness Code that will air on Apple Plus. So you got Nick's GOAT plus Kevin's GOAT in one place. All that's missing is Danny Ainge. And guys, we've got the trifecta. Nick, LeBron, and Brady working together on a TV show. With Danny Ainge will, I'm sure, be looped in at some point because obviously something's missing. What would that be? Would be blank.
Jenna, you have been doing so well. All the compliments were genuine. We've talked about this. You said that after Danny Ainge scorned you for a decade straight,
many times,
even after Daryl Morey texted him to tell him to respond to you, he still ignored you. That you were over.
Still ignored me,
and yet somehow he gets involved in this. So we were now 5 steps forward, 8 steps backwards. But to answer the question, LeBron and Brady working together on a TV show is scary, and it's scary for me personally because one of the underrated parts of LeBron's career is that despite being a guy from a really tough upbringing, coming straight out of high school into the NBA. He's had no controversies. He's had no arrests. He's had no scandals. And now to team up with a guy who's been embroiled in cheating scandal after cheating scandal is now, I think he's still being investigated for potential breaking and entering. I don't want LeBron to fall down the path of, a kind of a bad crowd. He's kept some great people around him with Rich and Randy and Maverick, and now I just worry that he goes to LA and he sees the bright lights of Tom Brady, and all of a sudden we're going to see him on TMZ, and so it's scary for me, Coach.
Yeah, to me, this is missing Michael Jordan and must-see TV for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how you can have anything called the Greatness Code without including Michael Jordan, especially after what we just saw from the previous documentary. And with Patrick Mahomes, he has to look at Tom Brady and try to emulate the things that he's done where you can handle fame and success and money and all those things that come with winning and still be able to push yourself in ways that other great players haven't. So he gets those two things fixed, or he's able to look at those things. I think it'll help him a lot.
I went with Super GOAT, Jenna, and here's why. LeBron and Tom might be relegated to the kids' table of this show. When you look at the other GOATs that are on here, LeBron's got 3 championships. Brady's got 6 championships. Usain Bolt, 8-time champion. Katie Ledecky, 15-time world champion. And Kelly Slater, 11-time world champion. So a lot of GOATs lined up. Happy to watch it.
All right, good stuff. Let's end with Dolphins quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, who has used quarantine as a perfect excuse to Zoom more and groom less. When he was recently asked about his beard, he said, there's only 2 people in the country that I trust to touch this thing. Question is, do those 2 people want to touch that thing? Nick, Fitzy's quarantine look is blank.
It's career lengthening. And this is a heady play from the Harvard grad, and here's why. Ryan Fitzpatrick's look has become the narrative on him instead of the fact that I couldn't believe this when I looked it up this morning. He has started 139 games. He has 161 interceptions. Of all active quarterbacks in football, only Jameis has a higher career interception rate than Fitzpatrick. But because he's a good quote and he's got a great beard, we talk about him and he gets to stay in the league. He should have thrown himself out of the league years ago, but he hangs around and just keeps throwing it to the other team. And we're like, oh, look at him. Look at that hair. Did you know he went to Harvard? It's just, so I feel like it's a ploy. I feel like he has cracked the code to career longevity. The McCown brothers all should have grown beards years ago, Coach, and they'd maybe still be getting interviewed and still be starting for teams.
Yeah, to me, this is straight out of Central Casting. You need like a Sherpa or some kind of guru, and put him on top of the mountain in like a robe, so that Tua can climb to the mountain and hear the wisdom from the quarterback guru. He'd be perfect for that role, and then that's the role he's going to have to play in Miami.
Jenna, I agree with Nick. We figured him out. Total remarketing. Hey, you're a Harvard nerd. No, I'm not. I'm a big lumberjack. Hey, you're a competent game manager. No, I'm not. According to the study we had on yesterday, 8th best deep passer in the league. Hey, you're a pocket passer. Am I? I led the Dolphins in rushing last year. Hey, you're going to mentor Tua. Yeah, I am. Also, I'm going to compete for the starting job. Very savvy, very chameleon-like. You don't know what the guy's up to, Jenna.
I love it. I love it all. All right, we got to take a break. Back here, First Things First. Time for stories to start your morning. We have some breaking news now. Are you sitting down? Brace yourself. Dak Prescott still does not have a contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Recent reports saying Dak and the boys still only disagree about the length of the deal. Sorry. I know it's a pump fake. Nick, are you starting to worry a little bit about Dak and the boys?
I'm not worried about Dak. You're going to be fine. Dak's got $31 million in one hand, $110 million guaranteed in the other hand, and he might drop both hands and say, you know what? Let's just play this thing out. So I'm not worried about Dak, but I do think Wild started the countdown. We've got 54 days and a few hours until the July 15th deadline, and I think it's going to be, let me say this. Dak will not be signed prior to July 10th. Now, maybe in those final 5 days it gets done, but the math gets very tough for the Dallas Cowboys with what Dak wants. And so I think Cowboy fans need to be totally prepared, Wilds, for Dak to play this thing out for another season.
I agree, Nick. I am officially jumping my 50-day deadline and moving my panic meter up 2 notches. I was at no worries in the world, and then I think it's concerned. Now I'm moving it up to feeling antsy. Feeling antsy, Coach. I used to have it as stress-free. I'm moving it up. I don't know where you fall on this, but I'm officially moving up. I'm not all the way to the red, which we made red. That's the Andy Dalton alert. I'm not there yet, Coach.
Yeah, to me, this is a stress-free area in my panic meter. In this world of Zoom that we're in right now, there's not a lot that he's missing. It's not like everybody's together in the building, and that he missed OTAs and all the things that come along with that. This could go right to the wire. I think the panic meter is going to go up when he does sign the contract, and they've got to make other decisions because of the amount of money he's being paid.
Huh.
All right, let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now. They've already won an award, and it's still May. Bill Barnwell awarding them the team who had the best offseason in the NFL. I guess adding 9 Super Bowl rings and Brady and Gronk is considered an upgrade. Coach, you agree with Barnwell?
I don't know what comes with that award. Do you get a ring? Do you get a pendant? Like, what does Bill Barnwell hand out for winning the offseason? Like, that's fantastic. You win the offseason. You win a press conference. So many teams are caught up with signing big names. And look, Washington Redskins used to do it all the time. They'd sign guys for big money who used to be really good players, but weren't necessarily now. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with Tampa Bay. It remains to be seen how well these two players are able to play in this environment. And I love Tom Brady, and I believe in Tom Brady, but it's still a dramatically different situation and a lot to learn and high expectations. So what? You win the offseason. Congratulations.
Yikes, Coach. Man, whoa, Coach. Not fired up this morning. Nick, I'm waiting for your answer. No, I mean, it's just like it's just a lot. It was just, you're up and down this morning. I got to be honest with you. I got to take integrity. You're up and down. Nick, I love that you value take integrity. The other thing I know you're a big fan of, very, very smart and informed football people, which Bill Barnwell is one of them. So I don't know how you're going to fall on this. I feel like you're in a tough spot. I know you respect Barnwell, and Barnwell just said something that you totally disagree with. So where are you going to fall here? Well, Barnwell or anti-Brady hate that you're obligated contractually to deliver on the show?
I don't know that I disagree fully with Bill Barnwell. You're right. Bill Barnwell is the single smartest person writing about football. Barnwell is brilliant, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. If I were to buy an NFL team, the first thing I would do is appoint myself general manager. The second thing I would do is hire Coach Mangini as my head coach. And the third thing I would do is bring Bill Barnwell in to be my concierge. So yes, I agree with you. I actually love what the Bucs did this offseason. I was Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, and Shaq Barrett. I think all of us thought they were going to lose one of those great front seven defenders. They brought them all back. Being able to trade up in the draft and get Tristan Wirfs was a spectacular move. Getting Gronk for nothing, essentially, is a great move. The question I have, and I think Barnwell has it, and Coach acts like he doesn't have it, but he just kind of a little Freudian slip there. The question I have is, are they a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender? That's what we'll find out this year. Are the Bucs a quarterback away, or did they do what Washington used to do, which is sign Hall of Famers well past their prime, which they may have done with one Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, but we'll find out. But I don't think Barnwell's off on this channel.
All right, speaking of Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, warm weather Tom's now down in Tampa. So new Jets running back Frank Gore believes the AFC East is, quote, wide open. Nick, back to you. Is this anyone's division to win this season?
Well, I think the future Hall of Famer Frank Gore is almost exactly right on this. I have the AFC East going down to Week 17 with the Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots all alive for the division title with 1 week left in the season. Unfortunately, that's just 3 of the 4 teams. The 4th team is the one Frank Gore's on. That's the Jets. I think they're going to be eliminated from postseason contention come around Thanksgiving. I think they're a 4-win team. But I do think, Wilds, it's wide open. I think the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots all win between 8 and 10 games. I think the Patriots have a good final month kick to end up winning the division.
Look, I said November 19th, 2020. That's when the Jets will play the Patriots. And I don't think Frank Gore is wise to be giving the Patriots bulletin board material, except for the fact that the Patriots don't need bulletin board material because they're so smart, they don't use bulletin boards. They just memorize everything, Coach.
Frank Gore is absolutely one of my favorite all-time players. And I agree with Frank to some degree in the sense that nobody has a real proven quarterback. Nobody has shown that their quarterback can consistently lead at the highest level the high level that needs to be done. Now, I like a lot of the things that Buffalo has done in the offseason. I like Buffalo's mentality and approach to things. And I think they're the biggest threat to New England. But until you dethrone New England, it's hard to say that this is wide open. They still have Bill Belichick. They still have Josh McDaniels. And they still have a really strong core and an edge mentally over the rest of the division.
Quickly, little known fact.
Yell it. They got Stidham, Wilds. Go, Nick.
Jenna, just quickly here, I apologize. Coach wanted to name his youngest son Frank after Frank Gore. Wife vetoed him, and it's one of your kids' favorite players. At least one of those 2 things I just said is true. Let's not let the audience know which one it is. Jenna, go ahead.
All right. Switch gears, talk some basketball now. ESPN released their all-time starting 5s for every team in the league. So the Spurs featured Parker, Ginobili, Gervin, Duncan, and Robinson. Wait, hang on. No Kawhi. Maybe he was load managing when the list came out. Nick, you surprised they left Kawhi off?
No.
Too much?
This is not a shot at Kawhi.
Take it back.
Can
Too much?
Folks please put some, I know, can folks please put some respect on some of the older players' names? George Gervin made 7 first or second team All-NBAs with the Spurs. Won a handful of scoring titles with the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard made the All-Star team twice with the Spurs. He was only a great player in San Antonio for 2 seasons. So who are you taking off? Parker and Ginobili have to be there. Duncan and Robinson have to be there. You can't remove the ice, man. This is obviously correct. I thought ESPN did a spectacular job on this for 29 of their 30 teams. The one outlier is they left off Kevin McHale in favor of Paul Pierce, which is just indefensible. And I just wanted to fit that in to put Wilds in a bad spot here. Go ahead, Wilds.
No, look, we'll get to Paul Pierce later on. The more outrageous thing to me, Coach and Jenna, was that the Celtics all-time starting 5 left off Danny Ainge.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I don't have to say it. Thank you. Love you, Wilds.
I don't say this very often, but I agree with Nick on both points. I think there's this rush to put new players ahead of traditionally successful players, just because it's fresher in our minds, and not having Kevin McHale on the starting 5 to me, and choosing Paul Pierce over him is a shame.
Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge. Yeah.
Danny Ainge, I don't know. Kevin McHale, though.
Let us transit. Coach, you're good. Now we're done. Let's transition to something new here on First Things First. Wilds breaking down everything that happened throughout the week. He's going to hand out a bronze, silver, and gold medal. You know what that means? Something we are calling...
Yes.
Wait, what? Olympiad. Wilds, my friend, take it away.
Wait, what? Olympiad? Oh, thank you, Jenna. Well, with the endless scroll of social media and the revolutions of the news cycle, there's occasionally some stories that make us say, wait, what? The gold goes to, oh no, I'm sorry, I screwed it up already. The bronze goes to LeBron James. In yesterday's delightful finale of Game of Zones, LeBron's coronation was disrupted by a skeptical chorus doubting his GOAT status. Shocked by the development, LeBron looked to his most loyal supporter saying, what? Where's Nick Wright? Only to be informed that he had been eaten by a dragon. Making matters worse for Nick, the newly crowned GOAT was not a fan of take integrity, but was a fan of the truth. The silver is going to a Jordan 1. This autographed Jordan 1 set the record for a shoe sale for $560,000. The player exclusive Jordan 1, different from the consumer model, better leather, lower profile, in a leaner Nike check. Here's the funny part. Also, 2 different sizes. Jordan wore a size 13 on his left foot and a 13 and a half on his right foot. Never knew this. I've been a Jordan fan for 30 years. So while we're all trying to be like Mike, turns out we are all a half size off. Now, the esteemed gold medal is going to the Madden times check down simulation. I'll wait for the graphic here. Bingo. Now look, while most computer simulations conjure a paralyzing fear that our physical bodies are suspended in a vat of neon green ooze, while sentient yet soulless robots plunge their digital fangs into our brainstem to drain us of our very essence, the plus side is that these Madden simulations are actually pretty interesting. If we can look at the stats here, in their newest standings, we've got the Chiefs playing mighty well, the Ravens are playing great, the Browns are playing great. Unfortunately, my Patriots, 2-8, coach. I don't know what's going on, but if it keeps my mind off of being stuck in a vat of ooze, I'll say congratulations to the Madden check down simulation, today's gold medal winner in the Wait What Olympiad, Nick.
This is a great news segment. You nailed it. My only critique would be I would have had the LeBron name checking me slightly higher on the list, certainly higher than Jordan's old stinky sneakers. But aside from that, A+ work by Kevin Wilds. Spectacular job, Jenna.
Oh, yeah, with a field of 8 current and former NFL players battling to support those most impacted by COVID-19 through the Feeding America charity. We're now joined by Ravens wideout Marquise Hollywood Brown, who will be one of those 8 players participating. Hollywood, good morning to you. Thanks for being with us. First of all, just tell us about the whole Madden experience.
Good morning, guys. It's been fun just to be out playing Madden and getting to interact, with other NFL players and fans, and just a different way in times like this to share moments.
I just want to show America how Hollywood's been staying busy, because some of the videos that you've put out are really impressive. You turn your whole driveway basically into a gym. You work out all day, every day. Is it hard not being able to train at a facility with your teammates? Although you look like you're doing just fine, if I may say.
It's kind of different, but it gives you a time to reflect on yourself. And I jump on FaceTime calls, video calls, and I train with some of my teammates over that. So it's just, we got to find different ways to get better every day.
Hollywood, September of 2016, you're at College of the Canyons and working part-time at Six Flags, if my research is correct. September of 2019, you got 150 yards and 2 touchdowns in your first career NFL game as a first-round pick. A lot changed for you in a very short period of time. Can you tell me about what it was like going from College of the Canyons, Six Flags part-time, to starring in your first NFL game in just 36 months?
It was a quick turnaround. I just give all the glory to God, just for putting me in the situations to, thrive. And I just had to take every opportunity that I got and just ran with it. And that's pretty much my whole philosophy now. If I get an opportunity, I got to just do my best to make the most of it.
Hollywood, you had 2 screws in your foot last year and still had a great season. What's the ceiling for you this year?
Wherever God takes me, wherever he leads me to, if that's having a great year, if it's not, I just want to be my best to help my team, be as successful as possible.
All right, Hollywood, I got to talk to you about your track record with quarterbacks, because it's been so impressive. Sophomore year at Oklahoma, Baker Mayfield, the guy wins the Heisman. Junior year at Oklahoma, Kyler Murray, the guy wins the Heisman. Rookie year, your quarterback is Lamar Jackson. He wins the MVP. What do all these 3 guys have specifically in common, and who do you think has made you the best receiver?
They all have in common the fact that they want to win, very badly. They all share that common goal of, whatever it takes, they expect you to be where you need to be at the right time, and they want to win, So those guys, I have the utmost respect for. As far as who made me better, I think it was probably Kyler, because, coming in Baker, I was like a young guy, I didn't play like the first few games. Then, I came in, everybody was clicking, I just had to find my way in and try to help the team as much as I can. But, that next year coming in, that was Kyler first year starting. I was kind of the guy that was already playing. So just, getting that connection with him in the summer and really showed me how to build a chemistry with a quarterback, leading up into a season.
Hollywood, your connection with Lamar goes back to your youth, where you guys didn't, I think I'm right on this, you didn't play on the same Pop Warner team, but you played in the same Pop Warner league. Any legendary Lamar Jackson stories from youth of him breaking some poor kid's ankles or just carrying a team?
That was every day, every Saturday. The stuff that he do now, he been doing the same thing since when he was young. He was like the only quarterback to throw the ball when we were like 9 years old. So, just seeing him now and seeing what he's able to accomplish, it's just bringing a smile to my face.
Hollywood, the Ravens on the field highlights, excellent, right? You guys went 14-2. The off the field highlights, from the press conferences to some locker room videos that NFL released, it just seems like you guys have an amazing chemistry. We had Mark Ingram on the show earlier this week, and he talked about how special the team was. Can you tell a story or give us a glimpse on what makes the team so special in this unique chemistry that the Ravens have?
I think it's just, coming into the league, everybody told me, the locker room going to be different from college. It's not that much excitement. It's about business. But when I came into the Ravens, it was like, it was fun. Everybody is there for each other. We playing music, we dance around, but when it's down to business, we fly around. We're in practice, we're flying around, guys giving you tips to how to get better. And it's just a fun environment, we come in every Friday, every Thursday, they got the music playing, guys are dancing, and just we go into, our walkthrough, and it's just dialed in, locked in, silent. And then, you know, for us to be able to turn it on and turn it off like that, you know, it's a special team.
That's funny, Hollywood. That's what we do before the show. Dancing for like 30 minutes, and then we dial in and we get ready to go. Do me a favor, please. Tell me what big trust means. Everyone tries to explain it to me. I didn't quite get it. What does it mean? What did it mean to that team? And what's the new motto this year going to be?
I don't know. I mean, I came in, you know, South Florida, Lamar, South Florida guy. I'm a South Florida guy. And, you know, trust is just, you know, something that, you know, we grew up on. And then for, you know, the team to adapt, and then, you know, Mark Ingram being the personality that he is, you know, he made it big with, you know, the big trust. So, you know, it's just fun to see everybody rally around something so small and make it so big. And, you know, I don't know what the motto is going to be this year, but whatever it is, you know, we just going to stand by our quarterback and whatever he want to rock with.
One of the most underrated coaches in the NFL is your head coach, John Harbaugh. He's even underrated amongst his family because Jim Harbaugh gets all the headlines at Michigan for some of his histrionics. John, though, I've heard from players, has a famous hot streak to him as well. We just don't always get to see it. Tell us something maybe about your coach that the audience doesn't know, if you would.
Oh, man, he gets fired up. You know, he's the guy that can get you going. And, you know, even on the sidelines, you know, you come make a play or you don't make a play, you know, he gets you fired up, but he also knows how to talk to you. You know, he knows how to, you know, get you in that mindset, get you ready to go. And, you know, he's a great coach.
Real quick, we got about 30 seconds left. Your mom told you when you were younger, say things out loud, speak them into existence. So the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. Who will they be playing this year?
I don't know who we're going to be playing. I just know we're going to be there. So I'll be ready to see who we face.
You just know it's going to be you.
Yeah.
All right, Hollywood, thank you so much for joining us. All the best to you on the Madden 20. It's for such a good cause. And good luck with the season this year. I think a lot of people are rooting for the Baltimore Ravens to do some really big things. We really, really appreciate you being with us. We got to go. That's it for us. Have a great weekend, everybody. First things first, back here Monday morning. Take care, everyone.